So welcome, Josh. It's great to be here with you at NECA Philadelphia 2023. Tell us a little bit about ELECTRI for those who don't know.
Thank you, David. It's good to be talking to you as well. So ELECTRI is the R&D lab for the electrical contracting industry. We are working very hard to help electrical contractors stay ahead of the pace of change. And as you know, that's a lot of work right now. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces around systems integration and so much that's out there around low voltage and the technology space. It's an exciting time to be an electrical contractor.
Well, I know for contractors, it's a very thin margin business. A typical contractor only earns about 4% operating profit on revenue. So anything we can do to make their job easier, to help them be more efficient with labor. Talk about some of the forces that are impacting their profitability.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts right now. I mean, if you look at jobs, the schedule's so tight. You look at the margins, all the factors that come into play. We've got our designs are getting worse. So there's a lot more RFIs. There's a lot of process now that we're trying to interpret the design intent and solve problems because we're not getting the information we need. And then we've got a lot of inexperience from across the board to the general contractor and all these other aspects. Then at the same time, we've got workforce shortages. We've got emerging technology. We're having to figure these things. It's a number of things, David, that are compiling to make the electrical contracting industry more challenging than it's ever been.
Well, you talked a little bit about the importance of information and being able to have good information in real time. One of the initiatives we're working on with IDEA is the idea of a single source of truth, where distributors will make their real-time in-stock availability known across the ecosystem. How important is that in terms of managing work?
Yeah, when we talk about our challenges, supply chain is one of our challenges. Knowing that a product's available, knowing when we can get it, how easy is it going to be for us to manage the handling of that, getting it on site safely. There's a number of factors. So getting that visibility right now is critical to our contractors. So that's of the utmost importance and one of our biggest challenges we're facing.
And I remember from one of your presentations that there is a significant amount of downtime on job sites every single day because material isn't present. And obviously when there's no material, work stops, and beyond the impact on efficiency, there's also the impact on the culture and the work that's being done.
Well, what you're seeing is the jobs they're asking us to move our work. So what's happening now is they're asking us to move from one area to the next. And over in this area, we haven't put a plan together. So we're trying to scramble and we're trying to find the materials that we need for this area and this portion of the work because there's stacking of trades, there's compression of schedule. You're right. This is something that we're seeing a lot of overtime on a lot of these mega projects that are out there. So you've got worker fatigue that's part of that. You've got a number of these factors that getting the materials in their hands, making it easy for them. If we're having to manage material movement too, and we're having to have them walk across and do a lot of added labor, that's not efficient. We don't have time for that right now. So we need to be really dialed in with our distribution partners. We need to make sure that we're working with them for a lot of the material handling solutions, letting them do what they're good at. And I think that relationship now, that partnership of letting them lean into what they're good at, our contractors are anticipating that because you just don't have the bandwidth to be able to go beyond what we're already hitting our maximum limit on with the workers at the face of work and trying to install the products they have. And if we don't have the materials, we don't have the appropriate tools, that is, there's adding to the waste and impacting margins.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we've learned is talking to IDEA and NAED is really the importance of getting the large national distributors to lead by example and to start providing these real-time in-stock availability. We know that there's a lot of work stoppage in the field because of the lack of material, and if we can start to help people understand quickly and efficiently how to break that logjam, I think it's going to start to unleash some productivity.
I think it's so important that NAED and NEMA have worked together with IDEA to leverage data. Our relationship is getting stronger with NAED and NEMA and working with IDEA. I'm excited about that relationship. If we can see in real time product availability, see where things are happening on a job so that we can make decisions that we can feed back to the general contractor. It's going to help us keep people working on the job site. So this is supply chain and how we manage materials is one of our biggest issues that we're facing across the board today.
Well, we know material is really important. The other critical ingredient to productivity is labor. And to me, one of the striking things being here at NICO was seeing the whole next generation of apprentices on the floor today. Can you talk a little bit about what we're learning about the needs of contractors when it comes to labor, and how can they really fill this demographic gap that we have in the marketplace?
So I'll tell you, it's very competitive today. We're doing a great job bringing a number of electricians in, but we're just not enough. With everything going electric, the need, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics is telling us that we need 3x the number of electricians today as what we need any other occupation. And as this electrification kicks off, we're talking about 6x the number of any other occupation. So this massive boom that's happening around electrification is creating a massive amount of demand on workforce. And we're working right now bringing in numbers, but as we're bringing in numbers, we have people leaving the industry. So we've got this balance of, for everyone that we bring in, we're losing one on the back end. So we're fighting this battle of attrition and bringing new people in. And we've got commitments from our end on the NICA side and working with IBEW. They're talking about bringing in 500,000 people. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. There's a lot of competition out there for that workforce. As you look at where the workforce is right now and the level of participation in the workforce, we know construction's hot, it's cold, it's rough. We've got to do a good job to make sure that we're incentivizing this, and pay will take it so far, but pay will only take it so far.
So to me, what stands out is, at a certain level, it's a math problem. And that fundamentally, if we don't have as many electricians as we need, we're going to have much higher productivity of labor. So we're going to have to probably get 20-25% labor productivity improvement. What are some of the trends that you think, or technologies that you think will help to drive that productivity?
I believe we have to do more with what we have. We've got to learn how we can, from the office to the field, how do we improve communication, ensuring that what the needs of the field, that's getting communicated to the office. We're going back a lot to our material management is a big part of that. I believe what we're going to have to see is this advancement of technology, conduit bending, automation of that. It's no longer an hours conversation. It's being able to do the work. We've got to be able to do the work. And we're going to see conduit benders, and we're going to see automation. We're going to see a number of things come out that, from a technology standpoint, how we can drive it. I think if you go beyond this too, prefab is going to play a bigger deal. How you program things, even from a low voltage standpoint, how you're able to create this off-site manufacturing type mentality.
Which may not need fully skilled electricians doing some of the work.
And maybe we can do shift work. Maybe we can do a number of other things that give us the ability to take that workforce and say, you want to work 30 hours a week. You're a mom and you need to drop your kid off at 7 o'clock in the morning at daycare. Well, on the job site, you got to be on the job site by 6:30. So that makes it really tough. So being able to work with flexible hours, the ability to accommodate the workforce and meet them where they are, giving them flexibility. You want to work 30 hours? We can help you. You want to work 60 hours? We can help you. You want to work weekends? We can help you. So we need that flexibility. That's what the workforce is looking for now. And we've got to meet them in the middle. Offsite's going to help us get there. I believe you're going to see a number of other tools that just reduce the amount of hours. Anything that we can do, if we can do cast in place anchors where we're not having to drill and get silica exposure, if we can do it safer, we can do it more efficient, it's a no-brainer.
It occurs to me that a big part of the productivity also can be shifted away from the contractor to their supply partners. So having more value-added services done by distributors who may have other tiers of labor who can perform those roles.
You said it's a math problem. It is a math problem. We have to look at catalog parts. You have to be able to look at what manufacturers are offering that are already pre-kitted, pre-assembled, already boxed in together so that we can streamline that process. We need to see more kitting. We need to see more of these solutions that are being provided by manufacturers and distributors, that contractors have the ability to prefab, buy prefab, and then still maximize the resources that they have available to them. We've got to hit this from a multifaceted approach. It's one thing's not going to get us over the hump. We've got to hit it from many different angles to get the productivity we need to be successful and remain competitive.
It's interesting because I remember a story, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it's about the early history of Southwest Airlines. And Southwest today is known for having some of the greatest productivity of assets, of people, of entire systems. And the story has it that back in the day, right as they were getting started, all of a sudden the chief financial officer went into the business and said, you're only going to have 2 airplanes and not 3. We have to sell one of the planes so we can go do marketing. And so very quickly they had to figure out how to do with 2 planes what they were expecting to do with 3. And like you said, this whole multifaceted story begins with a necessity, kind of a non-negotiable fact. And maybe that's what this industry needs.
You know, necessity is the greatest mother of invention, right? It pushes people to a point to be forced. And I think we're reaching that point today. I see we have reached this point, and I like the hockey stick analogy, that this point of inflection. And I think we're there. I think we've seen right now that there's not enough people to get the work done. There's more work than we can do. We've got to figure that out. That's not going to work forever. You're going to see other crafts. You're going to see others come after this work if we can't go out and continue to push it. So we're doing everything we can, working with our labor partners at IBEW. Our contractors are looking at ways that they can continue to push the envelope. They're embracing prefab. They're embracing offsite. They're making sure that they're working with their labor force to get the most. So it's now, how do we all work together? And when we all start pulling in the same direction, that's where we have to be. This is where we need to be right now. And I'll say this: our labor partners are critical, but our distribution partners, our manufacturers, we've got to look at this now, almost the whole value stream. Yeah. We really need to look at this more. We've commoditized ourselves, and anything is a supply and demand business. Right now, demand is high, and supply is low. So how are we going to adjust and self-correct and address some of these problems that are facing our industry? It's critical to our country. We're reshoring right now. A lot of work is coming back to America. We've got manufacturing, we've got industrial processes that are open.
It's yet another shock to demand.
Exactly. These mega projects are booming all over the place. It's an exciting time. The work is there. Now, how do we do it cost effectively? How do we do it safely? And a lot of things we're talking about here is the only way we get there, through these partnerships. So
this is really the innovation imperative that defines our times if you're a contractor. And I think that means the future for ELECTRI as a force for innovation is great. I want to thank you, Josh, for joining today. And it's been great to spend time with you.
The pleasure's mine, David. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.